All right. I'm trying to capture Keith Richards' hair, and I need a fishing line. He always has some kind of like a fishing line, fly fisher, a fishing line that he tied into his hair itself, and I always just want to cut it out. And I'm sure that's why he does it, ever since he climbed that coconut tree and landed on his head. But I'm going to talk a little about being an addict, being a Christian addict, being an addict in the Catholic Church, being an addict in the Protestant Church. I'm a year and a half sober, completely from narcotics, painkillers, and 7 different times in the last year and a half I've drank for various reasons. But the last time was a month or two, and I had 2 beers. I was in a bar, and I was like, nah, this isn't going to do it for me. It's totally, I don't like the taste anymore. I don't like the atmosphere. I don't like the smell of vomit. I don't like tipping a bartender with fake tips, $2 every time she gives me a 12-ounce glass of beer. And on the spiritual level, I alienated myself so much from prayer and God. Although one time I prayed in the Spirit for 45 minutes, and the only reason I knew the length is because of a CD, or maybe I looked at the clock. Stone cold sober. And then the next night, I was drunk and high off my ass and prayed for 45 minutes, exactly the same amount of time. When I was not stoned, cold, sober. I was stoned. And 45 minutes in the Spirit. So I think, I interpret, I don't hear God's voice. I just hear the inner whispering feelings that was God's way of showing me that no matter how low you go, you can still pray. You can still be in the Spirit. Unfortunately, the church doesn't view it quite that way. And I was mostly taking painkillers and getting drunk for pain and escape and trying to be an artist. And I've found that you can be all of those things without drugs, painkillers, narcotics, alcohol, whatever you're on, meth, crack, horrible drugs I never touched. But the church has to understand that in the healing process, you're going to fail. In the last year and a half, I've failed 7 different nights, 2 in a row, or 3 in a row one time, 3 nights in a row. So you have to realize and give that person freedom and room to fail. And that's why I have so much trouble with AA. In a spiritual context, it's kind of a replacement God, Father Bill W., who wrote the big book, which is compared to the Bible, that will never be changed. And I just felt it was cultish for me. It didn't work. Many things did work. And the biggest thing that ever worked was walking when I was in the DTs. Just walking for hours, walking to Target, walking around. And I knew if I could still walk, then I could make it through. And in this case, it took 5 days to get everything out of my system. And it was a hellish 5 days, a miraculous 5 days. I was strapped down to a gurney, hauled into psychiatric detox. And many miracles happened in a week, including my sobriety, which my girlfriend reminds me this was because of a miracle that this happened. We say, I don't have faith, I'm into AA, great. The bottom line is do whatever keeps you sober, but don't neglect the fact that faith is still there when you're drunk or when you're sober or when you're high or when you're not high. And it's always interesting stories, now anyway, to see people struggling for faith when they're on acid or when they're high on marijuana, which is now legal in Colorado. I'm starting to think I voted for the legality, but I'm starting to think this wasn't such a great idea. And so these are a few thoughts on faith and addiction. Bye.